ACC, the Tar Heels of North Carolina. Coach Roy Williams makes the NCAA tournament for the 22nd time in 24 years. He'll play the winner of the first-round matchup Wednesday in Dayton, Ohio, between Lamar's Cardinals, a number 16 seed, or fellow 16 seed Catamounts of Vermont, out of the American East. Those two will vie for the right to move on to play North Carolina. The 8th seed in the Midwest, Creighton's Blue Jays, the second team out of the Missouri Valley Conference. Blue Jays won the Missouri Valley Tournament Championship, 28-5 overall. So they're in. The question is, who do you play? You play the 4th team out of the SEC, the Crimson Tide of Alabama, 21-11.
That's going to be hard.
Alabama's 20th NCAA tournament appearance, their first since '06. Midwest Regional, Friday and Sunday games in Nashville, Tennessee. The 4th team out of the Atlantic 10, the Temple Owls, the Atlantic 10 regular season champions. Coach Fran Dunphy's team went 24-7, 13-3 in the Atlantic 10. Cause for celebration. They will meet the winners of the first-round matchup on Wednesday in Dayton between the Golden Bears of California, second team.
Oh wow, Cal's in the bubble.
8th team out of the Big East, the Bulls of South Florida, their first tournament appearance in 20 years. South Florida's Bulls will match up with the
That's the team, though, that St. Mary's beat last year, Potter Island.
The number 4 seed in the Midwest, the Michigan Wolverines, the 5th team out of the Big Ten. Wolverines claimed a share of the Big Ten regular season championship, their first Big Ten regular season title in 26 years. So the Michigan Wolverines off their 24-9 record. Coach Beeline standing there, and they will move on to meet Mid-American participants, Ohio Bobcats. The Bobcats won the Mid-American title, edging regular season champ Akron. Continuing in the Midwest Regional, Friday and Sunday games in Omaha, Nebraska. The 6th team out of the Big 12, the Kansas Jayhawks.
Oh boy.
Bill Self, 2012 Big 12 Coach of the Year. We talked to him
I think
just a short
that's when
while
St.
ago.
Mary's gets to
Didn't know
play.
whether he'd be a 1 or 2. His
I hope
Kansas
not.
Jayhawks are a number 2 seed.
I hope not. I hope
No, number 2 has to go against number 14 or something like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. They don't seem too thrilled with the fact that they don't get a number 1 seed. However, I think they have a favorable path.
Out of the Horizon League, they will play the Detroit Titans. The Titans 22-13 on the year. Won the
Okay, St. Mary's
Horizon
gotta
League
be the next
tournament, knocking off 2-seed Cleveland State and 1-seed Valparaiso. The 3rd team out of the West Coast Conference.
There it is.
Woo! St. Mary's!
Season title outright and claim the tournament.
They're the boys.
A few smiles, little anticipation, celebration still to come.
Look at they got the belt around the side.
So Randy Bennett finally got over the hump and knocking off Gonzaga to get that AQ.
And
Okay, now who do we play?
Team in their sights, the 6th team out of the Big Ten, the Boilermakers of
Ooh.
All right.
Yeah, we play
Playing
Purdue.
a Big 10.
tournament. Midwest Regional action Friday and Sunday in Columbus, Ohio. We talked to this coach a short while ago. The 9th team out of the Big East, the Hoyas of Georgetown. Coach John Thompson's team, magnificent season with 23-8 on the year. And who do they get? Out of the Atlantic Sun, they get the Bruins of Belmont, who won the regular season and the tournament championship.
No, I think Belmont will pull through. Belmont's is this year's dark horse. I think Belmont will pull through.
Moving on in the Midwest region, the 4th team out of the Mountain West, the Aztecs of San Diego State, Coach Steve Fisher's group.
And give him a lot of credit. They lost 4 starters off that great team from a year ago. More impressively, too, how about the fact that you have 4 teams from the Mountain West Conference?
And the 5th team out of the ACC, the Wolfpack of North Carolina
Oh, they
State.
made it.
Coach Mark Gottfried's team, 2nd among first-year coaches in wins. And
Whatever this means for us to get to Sweet 16, we're probably going to have to beat Kansas.
So let's take a look back over this region.
You know what's interesting? I think Mark Gottfried is really exhaling right now. With the way that game went yesterday against North Carolina, they find themselves on the inside looking out.
Yeah, this region is chock full of bubble teams. Cal and South Florida means only 2 teams from the Pac-12 in the tournament. Washington did not get in. I like Temple over Michigan in a mini upset there to get to the Sweet 16. I'd love to hear why they go with Iona over Drexel. That's going to be a big conversation. I like Belmont as my sleeper team in this tournament. I think they beat Georgetown and San Diego State and go to the Sweet 16.
And I just made that point about Kansas. If you look at the way this region sets up, if you're Bill Self and the Jayhawks, you have to love the fact that you don't necessarily have to go against some of the national powers that you will perennially see as a 2 seed. It could be their year.
You know, as you take a look at this tournament and how it shakes out, what are the big surprises to you?
Well, there are a lot. I think 2 things historically. One, first time we've ever had a power conference win its regular season title and not get an at-large bid. And secondly, the first time we've had a power conference win 30 games, Missouri, and not get a number 1.
Oh, your heart just breaks for Northwestern fans, don't you? You got to the first out list. I'd be very curious to hear from Jeff Hathaway, who else, or how close they were to getting in. But really, outside of Iona getting in, I don't say that I have a major problem with it, but I just feel like if you're going to go the non-power conference route, that Drexel had a much stronger case. They have better
USF got in?
Cleveland State at Old Dominion.
That's University of South Florida.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Iona had 2 very bad losses.
St. Mary's beat them last year in South Pocket Classic.
His first 4 do what VCU did a year ago?
Well, I'm interested to see that Iona team you talked about, because much like we pandered about VCU last season, I think you're going to have an uproar about them. I think that could potentially motivate them and to have them play well.
Cal was the preseason pick to win the Pac-12. I think the pieces are there for Cal if they can put it all together. They didn't have a very strong showing this year. If anybody breaks out of that pack, I'd go with California.
Speaking of the first 4, President Obama will be at the first 4 in Dayton on Tuesday. Our Clark Kellogg will chat with him at halftime. Now, take a look at the top 4 seeds by region. Who's strongest there?
For me, as I look at this region, I would probably lean towards the East, and then I also think that the West, with Marquette as a 3, Louisville having won the Big East tournament, I think Michigan State, Missouri, that's a real strong region.
I really like Missouri to come out of that West, but I'm sure it was just a coincidence that 20 years after Duke and Kentucky, they're 1 and 2 in the South, although I said I think UNLV will eventually get to that game. But here's how the conferences break down. Again, pretty much what we thought. I think North Carolina State maybe a little bit of a surprise. Of course, Greg Gumbel read them last in the entire show, but no huge surprises, I think, outside of Iona.
Well, how about the fact that the Atlantic 10 and the Mountain West both get 4 teams in the tournament? That's really impressive when you think about the parity in college basketball.
As you look at the power conferences versus non-power conferences, 6 teams out of the Big Ten. You expect that?
That is what I expected, because I didn't think that Northwestern would go in. But of course, eventually, they're all going to be power conferences. So the way that expansion is going, these power conferences have so many teams. But I do agree with Greg Anthony, though, in terms of the committee reaching out to teams outside the power conferences. I'm pretty happy that they did that. They give the tournament its flavor.
I think that's one of the benefits of the fact that you have so many more teams with the opportunity to play on national television. Everybody gets to see them for face value.
All right, once again, another look at the South region, and Kentucky is there, and also in that same bracket, Tom Crean of Indiana.
Well, if we get that UConn-Kentucky game, what a great third-round game that would be. But again, Wichita State, to me, it's an interesting matchup with VCU, but now